Okay, kids, we're going to try this again. Damn radio DJ is starting to be a pain in my arses. And, well, we ain't got nobody on there yet. Well, I see there's one of you back. I don't know which one it is, but you can spread the word that I'm back on here there, kids. So, nope, now it says nothing. Well, we're waiting until we get a couple more in here. Get somebody back on here. Yeah, I'm back, Uncle Bob. Send out the emails to all the kids and let them know I'm back. Uh, Radio DJ has an automatic program switch that comes on every hour when it's supposed to switch programs, and when it does, it cuts me off. That's why I gotta get um, that's why I gotta get my technician up here. Something in that program is goofing us up. So, yeah, Emmy, I'm glad you're back. So go ahead and proceed to let everybody know that I'm back. If you know how to do, if you have ways of getting hold of them. But I was going to play some more salt music, in which maybe I will go do that to give other people a chance to come back on. Let's see if I can get it to do it. If I should happen to get cut off, um, if I should get cut off, just go ahead and I'll shut her down for tonight. But let's see if I can get some music going here again. And where was that? I had one I was going to take. Yeah, there it is. Let's play that one.
Would you love a monster man? Could you understand the beauty of the beast? Fire at will. Fire at will. Yeah, I would kill. Yeah, I would freeze all hell over just to get a chill. Yeah, I would sleep. Yeah, I would nail. Yeah, I would vanish into near and be a bitter again. We're right in the squares, yeah, I would be sincere. Yeah, I would lie. Yeah, I would lie. Yeah, I would be the waking up the dead to get unrealized. Yeah, yeah. Would you love a monster man? Would you understand the beauty of the beast? I would do it all for you. Would you do it all? Do it all for me. Take your time. You'll be fine. Yeah, there is nothing wrong with this. You ain't committing crime. You die. It's not to buy. You search for something never found along these lines. Someday you may turn around and terrify you. Not deny.
Well, Radio DJ shut off on me too. So anyway, or not Radio DJ, Firefox. This is off of World Met News Center. Andy, Barry, and Joe, the Dems, Larry, Curly, and Moe. Jack Cashill, the author. Of course, the one major difference between the original Three Stooges, Larry Fine, Curly Howard, and Moe Howard, and the Democrats' Three Stooges, Andrew Cuomo, Barack Obama, and Joe Biden, is that the originals merely acted foolish. The originals also worked together as a team. The Dems Stooges acted alone for 2 weeks running. Each of the three took center stage in a dumb show of his own making, and shockingly, big media booed all three. After months of preparation, a Cuomo show hit Broadway on August the 6th when New York Attorney General Letta James released a blistering 165-page report. The report focused on thousands of needless nursing homes deaths or deaths for which Cuomo was responsible. The audience would have felt guilty about enjoying the spectacle. As we know, however, Democrats fret more about pinching fannies than killing grannies, and Cuomo, the party's only alpha male, was accused of doing the things alpha males have been doing since Caesar first pinched Cleopatra: unwanted groping, kissing, hugging, and inappropriate comments. The media Democrat complex encouraged the survivors, that's the word the media actually used, of Randy Andy's attention to come forward, and come forward they did. As I argued in World Net Daily 2 weeks ago, there was nothing spontaneous about staging this spectacle. As Tara Reid and Janetta Broderick can attest, the media shied from exposing bad behavior of Democrats. The worse the behavior, the less keen are the media. In Cuomo's case, however, someone gave the media the green light, and unless I missed my guess, she was the same woman who made sure Janetta did not become the catchword Monica. Catchword Monica. As it happens, the missteps by Barry and Joe may hasten this lady's return to power. No sooner did Cuomo's story start to fade than Barack Obama, Barry, two old friends, sprung into the spotlight on August 7th. In my own humble role as Nostradamus, I predicted the birthday bash would be a public relations nightmare even before the Delta variant crashed the party. Okay, see, let's go. So bad were the optics that Marie Dow of the New York Times headlined her op-ed, "Behold, Barack Antoinette. What better way for the Obamas to show their commitment to climate change and the cause of income inequality than by inviting their new jet-setting friends to revel at their $12 million beachfront mansion on a tiny island that could at any moment be swamped by rising seas. Yes, Barry, let them eat birthday cake." If Martha Vineyard is unlikely to sink anytime soon, Michelle Obama's political ambitions may have already done so. In choosing birthday party over political party, she showed herself to be what Maureen Dow said her husband actually is, a different debutante with a distaste for politics. If the two of these shows served up a week of guilt-free entertainment, the third alias was too tragic to amuse. On August 6th, while the worker bees set up the party tents, uh, Shez Obama, the Taliban seized Zaradi, the first principal capital it seized in years. While the Obamas partied down that weekend, the Taliban moved on four more principal um, capitals the media barely noticed. On August 15th, the media could not help but notice when the Taliban entered Kabul. Now it was Joe Biden's turn to take center stage, and to say the least, Mr. DeMille was not ready for his close-up. When CNN headlines an article, Biden administration boiled in internet blame shifting amid Afghan chaos, savage politicals know it was time to start brushing up on the 25th Amendment. Nostradamus says Nostradamus says Biden will cherish on the health grounds before the next snowfall. Kamala Harris automatically extends to presidency, but the media will withhold the usual first black woman celebration. They know that Kamala is a placeholder. Needing someone with strong foreign political experience, however bungled, the Democrats will see to it that Harris gets the open VP position. Hillary will get the VP position. She likely cleared Cuomo out of the way, and she's wisely steered clear of the birthday bohoya. In the way of the parallel when Curly Howard went down with a stroke in 1946, Brother Shemps stepped up, proving it was always pays to have an extra stooge waiting in the wings. There you have it. I think that was pretty good. I'm glad I read that. I didn't read all of it when I first saw it, but um, you good analogy there. Yes, yeah, you're right, Emmy. It is fun to watch them eat their own. Yeah, eat their own. They do. Okay, Emmett. Yeah, we know that he's a pervert, and so anyhow, yeah, the I just don't know what to tell you people about the hierarchy of the Democratic Party and the Democrats in Congress, other than the fact that they're falling into the pattern and reputation of communists that were running the Soviet Union. And these people are the ones that are trying to bring that here so that everybody can go out and play with whoever they want, whether those people want to play with them or not. So, well, um, I mean, if Hildebrand gets the VP, Harris will have to run for her life. Well, this just might be the setup that is going to be done to get Hildebeest the presidency that she thought she should have. You get rid of a Biden, and you get a completely detached Kamala Harris, because the Democratic Party hierarchies, especially in Congress, are are saying that she is incompetent and not qualified. So she gets booted out. The VP then moves up the next step. And who would that be at that time if Hildebeest got it? Hildebeest. And so you're right there, Emmy. Our greatest enemy is not the Russian, but the U.S. government. Back here several years ago, well, I'm going to go back into the 40s. One of, I think, Roosevelt's statements that the only the only thing the U.S. government has to fear is the people itself. So uh, yeah, next year the Congress will go Republican, and that's why we're in a critical time period. That's why you're seeing all this positioning and jockeying that the Democrats are doing, trying to figure out a way to stem that resurgence of the so-called red states. Um, so all I can tell you is, after the first of the year, hang on to your hats, because we're going to be in for a real rocky road. I believe in one state they had a runoff, um, and a Republican was elected over an incumbent um, Democrat. And I forget which state that was. And okay. And then we have another one who was running for office, and I forget what party he was with, but he was in Tennessee. I'm sorry, Tennessee. Um, the one congressional candidate made the statement that we should be allowed to shoot those who do not take the vaccine. And so you can see what's driving here. They're driving for further division among the populace to get the so-called vaccinated people to turn against those of us that don't want to take it, and trying to turn us into criminals to justify us being removed one way or another from society. Even out in California, I forget who the dickhead was out there, was he was conducting a poll on the streets, and he was getting signatures from people who thought California should pass a state law that anybody that is not vaccinated should be arrested and put in jail. The sad part of it was, half the people that were signing the petitions didn't even read it. Yeah, I just hope the Republicans are not like Arnold. Yeah. Um, Arnold, in an interview, on TV. I think it was on TV. But anyway, he was doing an interview, and the question or the COVID virus came up, and he got downright indignant. He said that you need to get the shots. Damn the people's rights, or to hell with the people's rights. They need to be forced to get the shots. Well, that comes right out of Nazism. I don't give a shit who you say. Being Arnold is from Europe, and his younger years were dominated by a father who was a Nazi, has embedded that into his thinking, and the true color comes out from time to time, and that comment is one of the true colors of some of these assholes that we got out there. So anyhow, okay, here earlier I was talking to you about Kamala Harris trying to distance herself from Biden. This is on Newsmax, written by Sandy Fitzgerald. Vice President Kamala Harris has tried to do all she can to distance herself from a controversy under President Biden's White House, so it shouldn't be surprising that she's missing in action on Afghanistan. Former acting Customs and Border Patrol Commissioner Mark Morgan told Newsmax Saturday. Since the first day she was appointed the border czar, she has tried to do everything to distance herself as far as she could with respect to what's going on in our own borders, said Meadows, who served under former President Donald Trump on Newsmax The Court. Harris ended up traveling to the Northern Triangle countries in Central Africa or Central America rather than visit the border where here in the United States, and only made a border trip after Trump said he was going to tour sites, said Morgan. Even then, Morgan said Harris didn't go to the physical border, and now the vice president has been largely quiet on the growing situation in Afghanistan, not making any appearances until Friday when she stood silent and masked behind Biden as he addressed the nation. We've been saying since day one that they've been misdirecting and spinning, and quite frankly, Biden lied to the American people about the southwest border, and now Afghan the same thing. Meadows said we are seeing it unfold in front of our eyes, and they are still continuing to lie to the American people. While the border is wide open because of the Biden administration's and criminals are pouring through, said Morgan. Just like the cartel's terrorist organization resolved to do harm to the United States is stronger than ever, he said. They're looking for opportunities to exploit. They're looking for vulnerabilities that they're going to find it in the southwest border. Meanwhile, Border Patrol resources are being pulled away and hundreds of thousands of people are getting through. This fiscal year, having illegal aliens from 140 different countries, you don't think that is a real threat with respect to our national security? Well, I told you so, but nobody's going to listen to me. So anyhow, to go along with that, I have some other headlines that I'm going to read that I picked up today, because we got about 26 minutes to go, but I don't know if I can make it that far. So I'm going to read some another quick story here. Biden administration to use commercial airlines to carry Afghan refugees. President Joe Biden's administration said on Sunday the nation is having and carrying out the evacuation of American citizens and at-risk Afghans. A Pentagon spokesman said 18 aircraft, including from United American Airlines, Delta, would not fly into Kabul, but would be used to transport people who have already been flown out of Afghanistan. This would be only the third time the Civil Reserve Air Fleet has been activated. The first time was during the Gulf War of 1990 and during the invasion of Iraq in 2002. The first occurred in support of Operations Desert Shield in 1990 to May of 1991, and the second was for Operation Iraqi Freedom on February 22 and 23. The United States and other foreign countries, including Britain, have brought in several thousand troops to manage the evacuation of foreign citizens and vulnerable Afghans, but have stayed away from the outside areas of the airport. U.S. officials told Reuters that Defense Secretary Lord Austin weighed whether the move would have an impact on the airline's commercial operations. The Defense Department does not anticipate a major impact commercial flights have from this activation. Pentagon spokesman John Kirby said, but limited number of aircraft is just one of the issues facing the evacuation. Officials are frustrated with the slow processing being conducted by the Department of Homeland Security and the State Department. There's also increasing concern about security in Kabul, where roughly 5,800 troops are protecting the airport. Okay. I do not blame Homeland Security or the State Department for taking the time to vet these people that are being flown out. Because under a chaotic situation, if you just open the doors and load up anybody that comes in and says, I work for the U.S. government when you're here protecting us, gets on a plane. Remember, Islam, it is okay under Islam to lie to your face to achieve their objective. And so to be because of the chaos that's there's going to be a number of Talibanis that are going to try to sneak through so they can be brought here to the United States. And allow them to come here to the United States and carry out terrorist attacks on the American public. Well, Emmy, I got to ask you, is that a real movie that he's making? Or is that just a wishful thinking on your part? Let's see. What's this? Okay, G.I. Joseph, you got to explain this a little better. 5 out of 5, 100% of non-random sample proves that Braveheart Radio live show has topped the media dominance of the most popular show on cable TV, The Walking Dead. 5 out of 5, huh? That's 100%. Who are the 5 out of 5? Are they people that are listening to the show? The man is the ultimate. Women are subjugated to them. and they will. Okay, well, I'll have to see if I can see that movie there, Emmy. There, well, there was five listening until I posted that statement. Yeah, well, you're right. Women and um, use as they see fit. Living in any Islamic countries adopted the jihadist warpath or religion. To me, I'm sorry. I cannot believe that there is a God that will allow people to worship Him in that way. And I'm not talking about the Christian God, I'm talking about their Islamic God. Um, so, he just might be the Islamic God, just might be the Satan that God has given temporary dominion over the earth. Who knows? Um, but anyway, I know I'm speaking ill of another religion, and I shouldn't do that because that monger. No, it don't make me a hate monger. It just makes me a realist. But I see what's going on. I don't have to have a ton of bricks fall on my head to tell me um, that something is going on. Oh, now, first time tonight, your connection is unstable. Please, wow, okay. They're playing with my connection now. So, Uncle Bob, have you seen it, Mick? That'd be interesting. I'll have to go and look it up on. Anyhow, I don't know what that brought that up. I must have bumped the end stream there, but yeah, that's what I've been doing since we've been. When it first started doing that here months ago, I used as a state for terrorist attacks worldwide, which is one of the reasons why we were there to stop the terrorist attack worldwide. For example, that territory now likely to be used. I did said that. Let's see. Then there's the billions of dollars in weaponry that Biden turned over to the Taliban, and a message that above has sent around the world being seen as America not standing by its allies. And then there's the evacuation of American and U.S. supporting personnel and their families who now are refugees fleeing what could be summary executions by radical Islamists in Taliban. Being airlifted out of Afghanistan to sign promissory notes to pay for their travel costs. When confronted with this information about the program, the Biden administration quickly backed off, saying there was no plan to collect reimbursement. But even after that, according to a report from the Daily Caller News Foundation, the agenda continues. The foundation report revealed that Biden administration continues to inform American citizens in Afghanistan as of Thursday evening they could have to pay more than $2,000 to board evacuation flight out of the country, despite the State Department telling the press hours before it had no intention of levying such charges. Okay. Should Biden administration charge American refugees for rescue operations? Hell no. Most of them were over there doing American government business, so they should be brought out. The report documented that the U.S. Embassy in Afghanistan has stated that any U.S. citizen wanting to evacuate from Afghanistan must complete an online form in order to secure their flight. But State Department spokesman Ned Price told the Daily Caller News Foundation that the Biden administration has no plans to seek reimbursement. However, the online form American citizens are directed to fill out to secure the evacuation of Afghanistan continue to state well into Thursday evening that travelers will have to pay their own way out of the country, the report said. It warned repatriation flights are not free. All passengers will need to reimburse U.S. government for the flight. The promissory note for the full cost of flight, which may exceed $2,000 per person, must be signed by each adult passenger before boarding. The Foundation report documented the demands with images of online requirements. The report also noted the form states American citizens that cannot afford to pay their way out of Afghanistan can sign a loan agreement with the government using their passport as collateral. The first reports about the charges came from Politico, which revealed sources on the ground witnessed the State Department charging their American citizens who had made their way past armed Taliban checkpoints into the Kabul airport upwards of $2,000 to board evacuation flights. The report said that the State Department admitted charging Americans. U.S. government officials in Kabul has also announced they could not assure safe passage for Americans who need to travel from some other part of Afghanistan to the airport. So, we're not going to charge, but we are charging. It's on the form that we didn't do that. Lying bastards. And automotive store and buy a can of stable. And that's cheaper than going to a psychologist or a therapist to try and stabilize you. So that's true, Emmy. They probably won't let them on the plane without a card. But the best part is they fill out that paperwork, but the government won't guarantee safe passage from where they are to the airport. That's why I said they should have been, if Biden was planning on doing this, they should have been notified 6 months in advance so they can get their asses out of there. And it would have, you can minimize it by giving proper notification to the people and giving them proper support. And to blackmail them into paying you to get them out of the country, anybody that came up with that thought should be arrested and put in prison for extortion at the least. And if Biden is sanctioning it, he should be impeached and put in prison for sanctioning such an idea in the first place. So on that note, we need to get on the horn to our senators and tell them to push for impeachment of Biden and get him the hell out of office. Okay, kids, I'm going to end the stream. We will see you next week. Lord willing, the creeks don't rise. I'm going to... Mother and I are going to be going up to the undisclosed location to do some more work. We're hoping that by Labor Day weekend, we will have got things suited that we can get in there in full-fledged, not just temporary, or, just part of us, but full-fledged. So at that point, kids, I hate to say this, but I'm going to say goodnight. Thanks for listening and tuning in. And I will give another call to my technician to see if we can get this damn radio DJ straightened out so I don't have to turn the computer off to turn it off and then turn it back on. So, good night, kids. See you next week.